Today's interview is with a Southern Miss baseball legend, a fan favorite, and in my eyes, a future Southern Miss Hall of Famer. So, with all that said, today's interview is with the one and only Danny. Danny, Danny Lynch. Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, especially after that great introduction. Thank you for that.
Man, we're getting to that too, that moment. But whenever I think of your name or getting this show together, Jason Baker enters my head rent free without a doubt, saying Danny,
Hmm.
Danny. So, but
Absolutely.
man, you had an incredible Southern Miss baseball career as a player. Now you're a GA on the staff in your first year, man. What's it been like to transition? Playing with your teammates and now coaching.
Well, I mean, I think that's been honestly, those are the easiest guys to coach because if I've played with them, they're kind of the older guys in the team now, and the Slades, Patos, the Brady Faustas, they kind of they know what they're doing. They're not the guys you're making a bunch of changes to. They know how to take care of business day in day out, and I think it's been fun to kind of get my hands on the new guys. See some of the younger guys, kind of try and teach them kind of how college baseball works and what it takes. And obviously, we got some awesome older guys that are doing a great job doing that with them too.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on the staff because one thing I've heard about you and read about you, man, your baseball IQ is through the roof. So kudos to you, man, with all that knowledge you're going to be spreading.
Thank
Now,
you.
I had Coach Oz on the show recently, and you guys have been together so long. He was an assistant,
Hmm.
now first year head coach. More or less said, I wouldn't know what to do without Danny at this point in my career. So, what's it like working with Coach Oz as a coach?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do without him either. He's a big reason I got into coaching. He had a huge impact on me for sure in my younger years, and obviously in the last couple of years too, as I kind of got older and had more challenges come my way. But he's been a huge part of this my life, and I'm really excited to work with him. He's had an incredible impact on me. So.
No, that's awesome. And what an impact you've had on Southern Miss baseball. Let's get in your playing career a little bit, backtrack some. Whereas in some circles, you were known as the Raging Cajun Killer. Let's just call it what it is, man. And there was a heated moment, probably the most heated moment I've ever seen at Pete Taylor Park, where the Cajuns are in town. One of our players, high pitch gets hit. You're
Mhm.
next up to bat, and you got an attitude about you. You hit a grand slam, one of the best bat flips of all time, and one of the slowest trots around the bases I've ever seen, man. Talk about that heated night because people still talk about that moment against the Cajuns.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely a fun moment. I think they threw at Will McGillis, who was sitting right in front of me after Reese Ewing had hit a long homer, and I think they might have thought Reese pimped it, but Reese maintains to this day that he it was barely foul or barely fair, and he wasn't sure if it was fair or foul, so he was kind of waiting, seeing if it was fair or foul. Yeah, man, I hit the homer, and that was a cool moment for sure, and I kind of wanted to let the pitcher know about it and let him know that you don't throw at guys in Southern Miss. So.
Ooh, man, you had that look on your face, man. One of them times I'll say I'm like Danny Lynch on my side. I forgot an alley fight that night, man. Tough guy right there. But as if that wasn't enough, last year, Danny, two grand slams in one game against the Cajuns. That's like mind blowing. But talk about that moment when you did that.
I mean, that was awesome. That was special. It was senior day, and I remember before the game, it kind of hit me right in the locker room. We were saying the prayer right before the game in the locker room, and it kind of hit me. I was like, man, this might be the last time ever doing this here. And we ended up hosting the Super Regional last year, obviously, but I was kind of thinking that in my last game. So it was hitting me. I was really emotional before the game. I think even on deck before my first at bat, I still was. And kind of, I don't know. That was an awesome moment. It was special, especially, in what we thought was Coach Barry's last game at Pete Tiller Park to get a win for him. That was special for sure.
Oh, absolutely, man. And speaking of which, I know you did make the College World Series, but man, back to back host of Super Regionals. I mean, Southern Miss is a powerhouse in baseball now, and you're a big part of that. How was that, man? Just hosting back to back supers. It was a tough ticket to get too. I had a hard time.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome. It's awesome when you get to host the regional, super regional like we had the last couple of years because it just the fans are so crazy and it's so packed and they're all making a bunch of noise and it just you're kind of walking up to the plate and you're kind of just embracing all how many people are there watching you play just play a game with your friends that you never really thought would get this big. But yeah, when there's all the fans in the stands like that, it's really special.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Well, just like I said, Southern Miss baseball expectations are through the roof. People so fired
Mhm.
up. But we're not done with some of your big moments in your playing career, Danny. Not yet. So, we're playing FAU one time, and you hit a walk-off homer. And our guy,
Mhm.
my buddy, your buddy, Jason Baker, ESPN play-by-play, does a great job. You hit that walk-off, and he just came natural with Danny.
Mhm.
Danny, Danny. I mean, do you get that all the
Mhm.
time? Because when I think of your name, it just Jason comes in my head rent free, rent free.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it sometimes just kind of going around Hattiesburg. It's always funny when people will say something to me. Gets to reminisce a little bit on the glory days. But yeah, it's awesome. Jason's obviously he's awesome. He's always around watching BP and we get to hang out with him a little bit, chop it up. So he's an awesome guy. That was cool. That was a special moment for sure.
Oh yeah, you had so many moments, man. I want to pick some good ones, some of the big things you are known for, though. But Danny's definitely a big one. So let's
Hmm.
get into coaching this year, man.
Hmm.
Getting to this 2024 team, like I said, expectations for Southern Miss baseball are through the roof.
Hmm.
What can we expect to see out of this team this year?
So I think we're going to be really deep on the mound. It's going to be, I don't want to compare it too much to that 22 team because that team is obviously so incredible on the mound that year, but it's going to be really deep in the mound. We got a lot of guys that can help us there. And I think at the plate too, you're going to see a really deep lineup. We're going to have, 12, 13, 14 guys that are going to be able to be in the mix and play a good bit. And I think the big thing that I'm excited to see this year is just kind of see the guys who, we know are good players that we've, seen in inter squads either for a couple years now, or maybe this is the first year we've seen them, but we know they're good players. I'm excited to see them go out and do it, when everybody's there watching. That'll be fun for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And you're never one to shy away from competition, and this schedule's not one to shy away from competition. A third of the teams this year went to the NCAA postseason last year. I mean, does that fire you guys up a little bit with this? You guys got a nice schedule this year.
Oh yeah, I mean we love it. It's awesome. We want to play as many great teams as possible, and even a team in there that didn't make a regional last year hosted. I think back in 2021 when I was playing against them, La Tech. So there's some awesome teams in the schedule for sure, and the Sun Belt helps that a lot. The Sun Belt's gotten so deep, top to bottom. The Sun Belt's really deep, and that helps make you're gonna play those teams no matter what. So that kind of makes the schedule and part on our half easy.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like I said, expectations are high, but definitely some challenges this year. You get through those hurdles, man. I mean, I'm not saying let's go to Omaha, but man, let me dream big, Danny.
Absolutely,
And a quick
absolutely.
question, ask Coach Oz that. I mean, that it's just expectations are high. What are some things you think might be the edge to get you guys to Omaha this year?
I mean, I think it'll be kind of our new guys stepping up and really growing into the great players they're going to be there. We got a lot of guys who aren't experienced at this level this year that are going to play a lot for us. And at the end of the season, it's about them, being ready to play. And we had so many awesome players past couple of years where we've been so consistent with Sarge and Dick, who are always so good in the postseason, that this year we need those guys to kind of step up and do their thing. And I know they will. Slade and Carson have been there before; they've done it. And Monaster was there last year, and we'll have the other six will be guys pretty much that are new for us in there, and that'll be cool to see them kind of step into their role and grow.
Oh, absolutely. Fired up for some Pete Taylor magic this year. So,
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute. There's a flag on the play.
Mhm.
but Danny, I mean, just want to kind of get people to know even more about you, if you don't mind, with this show. And you don't mind if I ask you like some fun 5 questions here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go for it, Danny. All right, first up, what's the best life advice you ever got?
So this one actually comes from Coach Oz, who we talked about earlier, obviously. And he says it all the time. He'll say it probably at least once a day that the mind is a very powerful thing. And it's kind of an all-encompassing idea. I know it's very broad, but I mean it's true. If you put your mind to something, you can do it if you really want to. We always can make excuses if we want, but if we can control our mind, we can control a lot of what goes on around us too.
Oh man, great advice from a great leader right there too, no doubt about it. Now, second question, man. One thing I love about baseball, I was a college football player back in the 90s, but the baseball team was full of characters, man. That's why it makes great baseball movies. What's your favorite baseball movie, or one or two if you got them?
That's a tough one. Gosh, there's a lot of good ones. I used to love the old Major League movies.
Oh,
Those
man.
ones are great. But I think my favorite's Moneyball. It was cool. Moneyball's kind of a different one where you get to look at the other side of it and kind of how you put together a team, and that was kind of something I've never been a part of. So I thought that was a really cool, different look at baseball.
Oh, very, very cool baseball movie. And not to backtrack to Major League, though, add a little comedy. I have an American Express corporate card with my company. Every time I reach for that, Willie Mays Hayes pops in my head, the American Express card. Don't steal home without it. Every time. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
third up, Danny, like I said, baseball players, you guys are full of tough guys, but full of characters, full of fun
Mhm.
times. Can you think of a moment at Pete Taylor Park that made you laugh the most?
So this is funny. It was actually in the 2022, right before the regional game. We had lost the night before to LSU. It was a heartbreaking loss. Everybody's down in the dumps. We're playing Kennesaw State. Maybe not early that morning, but it might have been an 11 a.m. or noon
It was
game.
it was 10. I think I was there, man. I was
Okay.
there. It was early.
Okay. Yeah.
And it,
So
there's
we
a,
we were playing an early game, and those are the kind of the games when you need a little bit of extra energy, a little bit of something. And Isaiah Rhodes, we've done all our talks. We're just kind of sitting there waiting before the game. And Isaiah Rhodes started saying he started saying it then, and we said it all throughout last year. He did a little bit of I think it's Braveheart. I don't know. I've never seen the movie. I think it's Braveheart. He said,
oh,
I
yeah.
feel most alive when I'm closest to death. And he just screamed it in the dugout. And it was just a funny moment. We all started laughing. It kind of kept things light that day, and it kind of became one of the things that we said a lot that year at the end of the season and then going into the next year.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Quoting
Hmm.
Braveheart, man, bringing Scotland into
Uh-huh.
Pete Taylor Park. I love that, man.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a great movie
That
to
was
get
great.
motivated. It's stuff
Hmm.
like that, man, because you
Uh-huh.
guys had a gauntlet ahead of you. You had to beat LSU
Hmm.
twice,
Oh yeah.
Kennesaw
Hmm.
State. I mean, and what do you know, Danny? You do what Danny Lynch does in those squads, and you did it. Man,
Yeah.
that was an incredible
Yeah.
weekend at Pete
Hmm.
Taylor
That was
Park.
awesome. That was awesome.
Man. So Danny, if you have one, two, feel free to name them. But who's your favorite baseball player of all time?
So my favorite player of all time is David Wright. I grew up. I always kind of played third base when I was little. I played a little bit of other positions, but it was always mainly third base. So I loved him. He was awesome. And then he had that great run with Team USA when they started calling him Captain America, where he was awesome in the World Baseball Classic. So I loved him ever since I was a little kid.
Oh man, great choice right there. That's for sure. Anybody, Captain America, can't go wrong.
Hmm.
Last question too, Danny. I mean, Pete Taylor Park. It's known for magic. It's known for a rowdy right field roost, man.
Hmm.
Just talk about just being a player and now a coach at a place like Pete Taylor Park.
Oh, what's special? I mean, my dad watches. He probably watched, hundreds of games out in the roofs between my brother's career and my career, and he made really good friends with the Maddoxes out there and Connor Barron's family, and he's made so many friends out there, and it's awesome how they're just so accepting of everybody that comes in, and obviously the home field advantage it gives us is huge. I always kind of, well, I don't get to hear it from third base, but Cato will always hear it, and he'll tell us kind of what they were telling the guy warming up in the bullpen before the game, and they're really giving him hell down there. So that's kind of a big home field advantage for us. How crazy they get, and obviously, after that regional, you see us climbing the wall going out there.
Oh,
So that was awesome too. It's awesome when the fans get so into it like they do. It's special. It fuels us when it's a long road ahead like that 2022 regional. It fuels us knowing that we got that at the other end if we can make some big plays and get the fans going.
oh yeah, Danny, I watched that LSU win, that regional win over in the right field roost, and when you guys were celebrating the dog pile and what have you, but then all of a sudden you guys come storming to the right field, climbing the walls. Just a
Hmm.
special
Hmm.
moment, Danny. So,
Yep.
but thank you right there for some fun five topics with Danny Lynch, and just to get a little bit know more about Danny.
Hmm.
Now, as we wrap things up, what's a message you might have for the Southern Miss fans about this season or the future or whatever you want to share to get them fired up?
Well, I think they need to be excited. I think we got another awesome team. I think this team has as much potential as all the teams we've had the past couple of years for sure. And it's just about them realizing that potential and kind of growing into, from boys into men, as we say, and growing and kind of realizing all that potential that they have. So I think they should be really excited and they should be fired up to come out to the Pete on February 16th.
No, there you go. You heard it, everybody, from Danny Lynch. I don't know what better message you need to get fired up about the season. So, but Danny, fan favorite. I can't thank you enough for being on my show today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I think a great way to close the show from the Southern Miss baseball legend Danny Lynch and myself would be to give everybody a big Southern Miss
To the top.
to the top.